Hello, welcome to this standing yoga practice as part of the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. Before we begin, it might be handy to grab a mat and to put on loose clothing and maybe grab a glass of water. It's also important to recognize how you're feeling today in this moment, where your body is, and where you feel as though you can engage in the movements, or if it might be wiser to just listen to how they would be and imagine them in your mind, which scientists say is just as effective as doing them. So just taking really good care of your body and where it is, and also noting in your mind the accompanying thoughts that happen when you're moving your body. But the purpose of this yoga practice is gentle, mindful movement. So that means in any position that you find yourself, there's no judgment, just a kind curiosity of what is happening in this moment. So let's begin. We'll begin by standing with arms down by your side, feet planted on the ground, about hips distance apart. And to find that perfect spot of grounding, we'll move on to our toes just for a moment, and then back on our foot, and then back on our heels, kind of going back and forth until when you finally reach with your whole flat foot on the ground, you can feel that spot which is most supportive and most balancing for you. Now, this position is known as mountain pose, and it's where we can feel ourselves grounded into the earth. And this is where we begin. And if at any time you feel tired or you lose concentration, just come back to the mountain pose and you can start again at any time. One last reminder to just be with how you are today. Not striving or pushing, but just doing the moves if they feel comfortable in your body. So our first move will be to raise your arms in the air, up, 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 high over your head, and to lock your thumbs when you reach that high spot above your head. And gently reaching your thumbs and hands towards the ceiling. Just a little, just feeling that stretch in your side body and underneath your arms. Holding it for a moment, maybe taking a deep breath in. And on the exhale, just bringing your arms down. Our next move will be taking our arms straight out as if we were the capital letter T. Straight out with our hands, our wrists bent, and our hands as though we were pushing on both sides. If there was a wall closing in on us and we were pushing both sides of the walls as it tried to squish us. Feeling that, and at this moment you might want to just take a minute and just bring your wrists around, rotating them forward for a few breaths, and then backward for a few breaths, just letting your wrists stretch out, feeling the joints loosen. And when they are feeling loose and ready to go, you can drop your arms and put them back, so we'll end up again in mountain pose. Here, taking a deep breath and just seeing what it feels like to do these initial very simple movements. And now, the next pose is we'll be taking our right hand and reaching it toward the sky. Your hand can just be kind of in the waving position, and your left arm will just be down by your side. We'll be stretching just as much as we can the right arm, whatever feels comfortable. And at the same time, if it feels right for you and it feels good and that it's accessible to you, turning your head towards that hand that lifted in the air. And stretching that right hand as much as you can, kind of growing your body, feeling that great stretch on the side. And now releasing that hand and switching hands. Now the left hand raises toward the ceiling and it reaches up. And at the same time, if it's available, your head and eyes can follow that hand, looking up. That right arm now at the side of you. Taking a quick breath here and releasing on the exhale. Again, coming to mountain pose. Just feeling what this feels right now. If you notice any difference between the right side or the left side of your body. Sometimes one side tends to be tighter than the other. So now, our next pose involves both of our arms. So raising your arms up over your head, just as we did in the second move. Not having them together though, keeping them a parallel, hip distance apart, and then leaning over to the right. Just as far as you could go. And if that means you just barely move, that's great. Not enough that you're going to feel a tug or a pinch or anything, but just a little beautiful stretch. And then coming up so that you're back in the neutral position. And then we'll take that stretch over to the left side. Just as far as you can go. As far as feels comfortable and available to you. And now coming back up, we'll return to mountain pose and take a minute just to see how the body feels now. After that 2-arm stretch. What are you noticing? What sensations do you feel? So let's move on. The next pose that we will engage in is a shoulder pose or a shoulder stretch. So in this move, we will raise our shoulders up, kind of so they're almost next to your ears. And we'll squeeze them together in front. And then let them drop. And once they drop all the way, squeeze together in the back. That's right. Let's do this again. Raising the arms up, the shoulders up, so that they're near your ears. Squeezing them together in front. And then letting them drop. Slowly and gently. And once you reach the bottom, squeezing them together in the back so that you feel your back engaged and you feel your chest expand in the front. We'll do this one more time. Raising your shoulders up to meet your ears. Squeezing them together in front. And then dropping them gently and slowly, as far down as they can go, releasing any tension along with them, and then squeezing them together and back. Really feeling that sense of tension and the big opening of your heart space all across your chest. So oftentimes we sit and have our shoulders go forward, or we get tense in the shoulders, and this is an opportunity to let that expand out. So now we'll go back into mountain pose position just for a few breaths, seeing if we notice any release of tension in the shoulders or neck. If not, that's okay, just let it be. And we'll move on to neck rolls. So we'll start in this mountain pose, but we're going to tilt our head forward gently. And the neck is a very, very intricate group of muscles. So be very careful, and if this isn't available to you, maybe just watch and listen. So moving your head down as though you're looking down at your feet, and then tilting your head to the right, slowly and gently. No quick movements. This is meant to be as slow and gentle as possible. And now we're going to keep rolling, but just as slow and gentle, because we're going to move our chin up into the sky and our head back like we're looking up at the stars or the ceiling. Holding here for a moment, maybe taking a breath, seeing how this feels, and then slowly moving our left ear to meet our left shoulder. And bringing the neck around to the front and standing once again in mountain pose. Head up. And let's do that one more time just to get a real great stretch in the neck. This time we could go a little faster, but please take care in your neck and your neck joints. And again, if you've had any neck trouble in the past or neck pain, only do a very small variation or don't even do it at all. So let's start with looking down. It's kind of like the chin is to our chest. And we're looking down at our feet. And we decide to tilt our head to the right. Maybe the ear goes closer to the right shoulder. And slowly, and this is the tricky part, slow as you can, taking your head back, tilting it at the same time as your chin goes to the sky, and your head goes back, maybe taking a breath, and then tilting to the left side. Oh, feeling that nice stretch on the outside, right side of your neck. And finally tilting forward, chin down just for a moment. And moving the head back up into place. Taking a moment again to see how this feels in your body. If you're noticing any release of tension. Or if you're just noticing that things are moving. Blood might be circulating, or you just feel a sense of ease. So this next movement is a balance pose. So how we're going to start is in mountain pose again, but feet more than hip distance apart. So if they were close together, you might want to move them apart a bit. And all of these practices are generally better done barefoot, but if you have socks on, that's okay too. So you're going to feel the weight of both feet on the mat. Just noticing it. Maybe press in a little bit and feel the feet grounded to the mat. And at this point, you're going to start to lean a little bit to the left foot. Just putting just a little bit more pressure on the left foot. And you're going to put more pressure on and more pressure on the left foot until your right foot is going to actually rise off the mat. And please have your arms out in a T. And your right leg is straight. And it's going to go out to the right as you lift and balance on your left